Welcome into the life cycle costing tutorial of the CIRCE2020 project. In this video you can learn about the LCC method applied in this project and also about the LCC experience of project partners. LCC has different conceptual foundations and methodological approaches. There is no existing generic standard. So to select the right approach, we had to consider the needs in the CIRCE2020 project. LCC in this project has to be applied to a wide range of waste streams, industry sectors and applications, so a generic approach with flexible adaptation possibilities is needed. It has to be applied to assess costs associated to life cycle systems for comparing alternatives, and LCC has to be harmonized with the environmental assessment using an LCA-based method, the product environmental footprint. Considering these needs, we selected the Code of Practice published by CITEC as the main reference. LCC, according to this approach, is an assessment of all costs associated with the physical life cycle system. We can consider internal costs directly covered by one or more of the actors in the life cycle, such as waste donor, waste recipient, or other actors. And also external costs can be considered. These are not directly borne by any actor of the life cycle chain. The main phases of the LCC are goal and scope definition, economic life cycle inventory, and interpretation. The goals of LCC in the CIRCE2020 project are to compare costs of business as usual and circular economy solutions, to identify costs and benefits of waste donors and/or recipients when applying circular economy solutions, and also to upscale the potential economic benefits of the circular economy solution. When you define scope, you have to define functional unit and also system boundaries, very like as in an LCA study. When you define system boundaries of the circular economy solution, you consider a potential transport of the waste from the waste donor to the treatment processes. These treatments have a product as an output flow that is usually transported to the waste recipient, and a use and end-of-life phases follow. In the business as usual scenario, you consider the same waste flow, its transport, and the business as usual treatment. We have to add also the business as usual production and the life cycle of the product considered in the circular economy solution. In this project, there is the possibility also to define the system boundaries, taking into consideration only the perspective of the waste donor or only the waste recipient. In the economic life cycle inventory phase, all cost data has to be collected, such as cost of materials, water, energy, transport, administration, commercialization, depreciation, labor, or others. All data has to be documented, such as data source, reference year, potential uncertainties, allocation procedures. Even externalities can be considered, mainly if they may come into play during the time of the decision-relevant future, such as taxes, fees, and new regulations. Data collection is a challenging task, so the aim is to provide the target audience with the best available understanding of the reported figures and the quality of underlying data. In the interpretation phase, results have to be analyzed according to the goals. So, we have to compare existing business as usual and circular economy systems. We have to identify significant costs and upscale the potential cost benefits to regional, national, or European scale. It can be important also to carry out a sensitivity analysis to check if uncertainty of cost data can alter the ranking of results of the compared alternatives. Now let's see the experience of the partners from different countries. First of all, we asked them what was their experience with the definition of system boundaries and functional unit.
try to align the LCA and LCC studies in terms of functional unit and system boundary. Both are really affected by the perspective that you decided to implement.
We take into consideration the processes like waste collection, transporting, processing of the main process of waste treatment, that means the waste recycling.
To compare the two scenarios, it is really important to keep in mind the providing function, the outflow that exit from both scenarios, and so a system expansion could be needed to perform the study.
That functional unit is 1 ton of fish tissue byproduct, and it's taken because we can calculate and scale data for our company capacity.
The functional unit was the treatment of landfill leachate, 1 cubic meter of landfill leachate, from the waste donor perspective. From the waste recipient perspective, the focus was to the valorization of byproduct, so production of 1 kilo of ammonium sulfate.
We asked the project partners also about their experience concerning cost data collection.
In our situation, we are very lucky because we cooperate very well with the waste treatment facility and also with the producer of our equipment that we're using to separate the heavy fraction. So we have all the necessary data.
So we need to rely on many different data sources. So we collected primary data, of course, from the companies, but we should also use some estimates based on some other studies or some similar plans, but also some literature data are at our disposal.
In the whole this project, we have problems with collecting data, and for the LCC study, we used only data from one document, case study.
For the Bay scenario, data was available from running experience, and on the other end, for the circular economy scenarios, data were available only from projects, and this should keep in mind when you go through the interpretation.
If the enterprises that are involved in the project is informed from very beginning about the possible benefits that the company can meet participating in this project. So that means that communication, promotion and communication is positive, and from the very beginning, from the first meeting, the company will follow and will deliver the data very easy and very quick.
Finally, we asked the project partners about the outcomes of the LCC study.
Our CE scenario is very promising. We economize about 20% of the transport costs, which is a huge amount of money.
And if you take into account the emissions, the CO2 emissions are so high that the company needs to buy quite frequently extra quotas. So it's not quite a good business for them to incinerate the rubber waste there.
For example, in Poland, the energy cost rise 70% last year. That's a very important aspect. So the enterprise and entrepreneur can take to the consideration all of the aspects that possible, and all of the possibility that in the future can appear.
We saw that the biorefinery generates a big profit for the companies, so that is good outcome, and also accepts environmental possibilities and good solutions. It is important because it can increase competencies of fish process in our counties, in Dalmatia County.
And in both cases, we expect the results to be favorable compared to the business as usual scenarios.
LCC studies provide good results in terms of from the economic point of view. More than the economic gains is more than double respect to the above scenario. It is important to stress that the perspective affect the possibility to appreciate this kind of economic gains.
LCC analysis will be one of the fundamental elements to take the final decision.
This project is very interesting, how to synthesize the data and the results of an environmental point of view, financial, economical point of view, and at the end, the technology point of view as well. So it's an interesting job.
Thank you for your attention. If you need additional LCC training materials, such as the LCC guideline or the full LCC training presentation or the checklist for the LCC training, you can contact us.